Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is noon, so it's time for another busy webinar. I'm really excited to be able to work with you on this one. And we're going to be talking today about social media, how to drive more business using social media. My name is Trygve. I'm the Buzz Development Director here at BizzyWeb. So let me work on a couple of different things here so that we can actually start pulling up the PowerPoint and get her started. So thanks everybody for joining me. Normally I've got my my colleague Jenna with me today, but she's not, she's otherwise engaged. So thanks again. Geez, I guess I really don't have any great small talk if I'm here by myself. So we're going to be talking today about how to drive new business with social media, how to get it to be working in such a way that makes the most sense for you, and how really to get it to grow and be a good choice for your business. So without further ado, let's see if this works, and fingers crossed that it does. Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close. It does. Hooray. Hopefully everybody can see my PowerPoint, and hopefully everybody can see a nice looking gentleman standing in front of his door. So let's, without further ado, let's get started. Again, my name is Trygve. I'm the Director of Buzz Development here at BizzyWeb. I am responsible primarily for Buzz Development, and what does that actually mean? It means that I'm the guy you talk to when you're trying to make a connection. So if you are interested in getting this PowerPoint after the fact, I'm more than happy to send it to you. All you need to do is to reach out to me at Trygve@BizzyWeb.com. In addition to that, if you want to share this with your friends, you can certainly do so. This will automatically be posted to YouTube as soon as I'm done here today. So one more thing before we get started. If you are watching this live, and it looks like a number of you are, if you want to use the hashtag BizzyWebinar, that'd be great. I am monitoring Twitter while we're doing this. That's normally why I have Jenna here to help me. But love you to take part and use Twitter and use the hashtag BizzyWebinar. And once I see something that pops up, I'll be more than happy to stop what I'm doing and answer the question for you. So for those of you who are new to the BizzyWebinar, first of all, welcome. Second of all, wanted to tell you a little bit about who we are. We are a full-service digital marketing agency that's based in a northern suburb of Minneapolis in Minnesota. We have a team of about 16 people now who do everything under the sun as it relates to digital marketing. We do website design, we do logo design, graphic design, building a social media platform, growing your social media platform, getting more people to take the kind of action that we want to take, and really anything that you can think of as it relates to marketing we can handle for you. Some of the best examples of the work that we've done you can actually see on our website, and that's at BizzyWeb.com. Yeah, so let's talk about, let's really get into social media today. This is an important part of business today, but a lot of people don't necessarily understand it, and they don't understand why it's important. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a step back, and we're going to start with the way it used to be. So a typical sales funnel kind of used to look like this. It was a funnel that started with trying to get as many prospects as possible, then qualifying them, and then finally turning them into customers to bring them into your store. This is Business School 101. This is basically what we all see at any given time. The trouble is now it's wrong. What this actually looks like now is the complete opposite. People are going to engage with us anytime that they want. So if it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, they're going to want to engage with us, and they're going to make buying decisions based exclusively on what they see. Not what we want them to see, but what they actually see. So things like our website, things like how well we communicate via social media, how many times we communicate, all of these are really critical, important decisions in this day and age in order to make what is commonly referred to as your digital footprint the best it can be. So the new word of mouth to keep in mind is what's known as engagement. So when I talk about engagement, that means that anybody, in the old school business sense, that person would come to you or you would go to them, and then you'd start having an engagement about whether or not you should do business together. All of those people are sharing information amongst themselves before they even come to you, and they're doing so using many, many different social channels. And I included email in this because email is actually technically a social media channel as well. And it's something that you should absolutely take part in. There's a wealth of information out there on there, some of it which I've even presented to you, but you can check out our webinar archive for that. So why do we do this, and why is it important? It's important to actually look at some statistics, because especially here in Minnesota, where we're sort of a passive aggressive people on the whole, people think, well, my business doesn't necessarily need social media. Well, that's not exactly true, because most of the time, almost 4 out of 5 times, people will make decisions based on a company's social media posting. And if you don't have a social media account or a footprint, that means that somebody else might in your name. So that's a very dangerous proposition. Secondly, most people, almost 3 out of 4, will buy from a brand that actually responds to them on social media and listens to them and helps make qualifying answers and questions for them. And then finally, if you are a nonprofit, then 84% of social media users actually show their support for a cause because they want to be proud of who they're supporting and how they're supporting them. So they always share with that, and then the extension of that is their friends and their friends of friends will start to see more information about who they are and who that charity is and why it's good to support them. That's the scary part. The good news for you is you do actually have a great advantage compared to anyone else in the industry, which is you have a great authentic connection. That passion that made you want to get into business and that passion that drives you to get up every day and go to work is something that you can share and demonstrate by providing great individual customer service experiences and a great engagement process for your customers that are just going to be seen by a whole lot of people. Think about the difference between your business and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, if you want to post on the Coca-Cola Facebook page today and say, I love Diet Coke, it's going to get awash in thousands and thousands of other people trying to communicate. Because you're smaller and because you're not that big giant corporate behemoth, you can actually leverage social media a lot better than the big boys can. Why? What do you need to do this for? It's for 2 reasons. Number one, you want to build and you want to expand your relationships, and you want to grow your brand. As sort of a byproduct, as a third, you can grow your email list, but that's really sort of fits into the whole building and expanding relationships thing. But it is sort of a separate thing. So those are the 2 reasons why we want to use social media. I get asked all the time, can you make money only using social media? The answer is yes, with a big giant asterisk. You can do it. However, it's very complicated and it's very time intensive to do. The better use of your time is to use the social media tools in conjunction with other tools, like a great website or email marketing or even search engine optimization, in order to have the 2 things bounce off of each other and work together. Okay, so here's what we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about how to pick the best social media site for you, how to set up that network, and then third, how to announce your presence. We're going to talk about the best practices for content, and then I'm also going to spend some time talking about social media advertising, and then finally ending on how to grow your audience and grow your list. So let's get started with the how to pick a social media site. This is intensely complicated because there are so many different social media sites out there that do a variety of things, and they're all basically trying to copy each other in terms of functionality. It used to be just networking, and some had photo sharing. Now they all basically have photo sharing, and now they all have some form of video, and even some have live video that you can actually participate in and work with in real time. So we've done some stuff with that, and it's great. But as you can see, just even a simple chart here of different places to go and what we need functionalities. it gets really complicated. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time actually going through some of these channels, talking about the pluses and minuses of each of them for you. So Facebook, this is sort of the granddaddy of them all. This is something that you should absolutely do. Most people in the world have a Facebook page now, and it is sort of becoming an industry standard when it comes to social media. The industries, it's basically good for everybody. You can post just about everything to it, and you don't have to post frequently. Once, twice, 3 times a week is great for Facebook. More than that, it tends to get a little bit of overkill. The benefit of using Facebook for your business is it provides a great advertising platform. I know that sounds a little weird, but really one of the ways that Facebook makes money is they sell pay-per-click advertising. And they have an incredibly complicated and complex system in order to target exactly who your customer base is and get those people to work with you. So it's a fantastic thing to look into. Twitter is sort of a wash in noise. The best way I can describe Twitter to you is that picture 50 million people all in a field, all talking at the same time. If you're going to use Twitter for business, you need to be posting at least 3 times a day, more likely into 5 to 7 times a day. And you can post a lot of the same things, but you just have to be very cognizant of the fact that you only have 140 characters in which to do it. The best thing for Twitter is it's a great way to, again, in real time and very, very fast, as we've seen with our president, it's a very, very fast way to reach directly out to your audience. So if you have the type of business that you need to get information out quickly, then Twitter's a great platform to be on. Best example I can give is last year I had baseball tickets for a local minor league baseball team for me. And it looked like it was going to rain, and I wasn't sure. So I actually tweeted the team and asked if the game was still on. And I got a notice within 2 minutes that it wasn't. So I didn't have to traipse down to the stadium to get rained out. Next is LinkedIn. This is what used to be known as Facebook for grown-ups, but now it's actually evolved into a really nice B2B platform. The great thing to post here is thought leadership things like studies, white papers, videos, anything that demonstrates that you know a lot about your business and you are capable of doing that kind of thing for other people. It's a fantastic platform in which to use. The amount of time really varies, again, depending upon how much time you want to put into it. By and large, what I would recommend is about 3 to 5 times a week. Just basically a once-a-day model. More than that, people are going to start wondering what you're doing other than posting on LinkedIn. The best benefit for this is, again, it establishes expertise, and when people are looking for somebody who does what you do, they're going to be able to find you using the LinkedIn search feed. I really like Pinterest a lot because, unlike the other platforms that we've talked about so far, Pinterest is actually a forward-thinking one. Everything else is a recitation of what was. Pinterest is a recitation of what could be. So the best industries to use for Pinterest are things like wedding decor, food, anything that's sort of visual, anything that's sort of a methodology. It's great to be there. You want to post at least once a day. And when you post, again, that varies depending upon your audience, but you want to basically have something that's absolutely visual. If you do have a business that isn't visually based, something like tax preparation, there's nothing wrong with a tax preparation business by any stretch, but it doesn't really fit the mold of what works on Pinterest. Similarly, Instagram is the same kind of thing. It's owned by Facebook, so there's a great synergy with Facebook. It's based exclusively on the idea of having a visual medium. So things like food, things like travel, things like fashion, anything that's really nice to look at as a demonstration of what you do, Instagram's a great place in which to do it. If you're going to use Instagram, you should be doing it fairly frequently, at least 2 to 3 times a day. I'll say that again, 2 to 3 times a day in order to make it really work for you. But what you get for it is you get a great idea of visual inspiration to connect with your customers. They'll stop thinking about whether or not they should start working with you, and they'll start imagining what they can experience if the product is part of their life, which is a great benefit of showing people a lot of pictures. Okay, we've gone through some basic social media sites and some basic information. Hopefully a lot of that is second nature to you now, so we can pick a good channel. I'm going to quick check Twitter to make sure that nobody's tweeting to BizzyWebinar. Again, if you are interested, use the hashtag BizzyWebinar, and I'll try and stop what I'm doing and answer your question for you. So next, we're going to talk about how to set up that network. It's ridiculously easy. Anybody who says that they will charge you to put up one of these social channels, you should run screaming from, because it absolutely is not the hardest thing in the world to do. Basically takes you about 10 minutes to do. So that it's truly that simple. Build your brand. You go, if you want to do Facebook, you go to facebook.com/pages. You put in your logo, you put in your business information, and you're done and you're launched. So whatever you do, it's very easy to do. If you have any questions, because you're participating in my webinar, I'll absolutely help you free of charge with any of those questions. So the next step in our process is we actually have to announce our presence. Think of this as a store. We've just built out our store. We put our products in. Now we actually have to tell people that they need to come see us. The best way to do that is by announcing your presence, letting everybody know, hey, we're here. Hey, we're taking part in this now, and you should come check it out. First place to do it is in your emails to people. Ask them to come follow you, tweet, post with you, pin with you, share the benefits, explain what you're doing on social media in such a way that it entices people to follow you. The extension of this is people ask me, well, what if you do the same thing in different channels? That's okay, but do actually share some information exclusively on individual channels, so that if I'm following you only on Facebook, that provides me with a value. The kiss of death with email is people who don't provide social links. So make sure that if you're sending out an email blast and letting people know that we now have a social media page, make sure you actually include a link there. I know that seems elementary, but you'd be surprised at how many people didn't actually do that. Next, include actual buttons that work on your website. Make sure that they're big, make sure that they're easy to see, make sure that all you have to do is click on there and it automatically takes it. You can also post in your blogs as well. One of the great ways to gain some search engine strength is by posting something on social media that leads back to your website. And then also share it on other social sites that you do. So if you've got a Twitter page and you're opening a Facebook page, share to your Twitter followers that they should also follow you on Facebook, and obviously vice versa. You've already built and established an audience there. Even if it might be small, you'd be surprised how much it can actually help you. So the next thing I want you to do is seek out your existing and your target audience, and also let them know about what we're doing. So things like sharing information, asking people to respond and communicate with you, and by doing so, by going to your social media page, is a great way to pick up a lot of interesting traffic. Next, you also want to follow like-minded organizations, people that you do business with, people that you share clients with, people who work in concert with you, who don't do what you do but do a very complementary service to you. It's a great way to ask them, hey, can you let everybody know that they should check out our Facebook page or our social media page as well? So here's the $64,000 question that we get here all the time is, all this seems fine, and I've made a pretty good case as to why it was easy, but how do I actually create some content, and how exactly do I say things that people are truly going to be interested in order to actually make this worthwhile for me? So here's how we're going to do this. So we want to take a step back and ask, what actually makes content shareable? Everybody wonders, why is a cute cat video going to get 8 million posts, but my really impactful thing that I spent most of the afternoon writing, why doesn't that get traction? It really breaks down into these 4 categories. It has to be useful, it has to be engaging, it has to be visual, or it has to be emotional. At least 2 of those things have to happen to really gain a good following. So some of the ways in which that manifests itself, by using images. The one on the left, this is actually a backyard landscape designer. they've actually showing what it would be like to be in a really great landscaped backyard. It looks beautiful. It looks warm. You want to be there. Second, the one in the middle is providing links. That's actually providing an offer, plus they're providing what the end result is. So that one that I took the screenshot of there, Jack's Backyard Barbecue, it's a good looking pizza. And you look at that picture and you think, man, I really would like to have that. How do I get that? Well, I click on the link. Finally, video is great, and it actually provides a tremendous and exponential, even more amount of engagement than just even a simple picture. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, how do I actually do video? Is it complicated? Is it something that's difficult to do? The answer is no. You actually have a great camera in your pocket and in your phone. Most people you can buy a $20 phone tripod off of Amazon. You can make really interesting and engaging videos just even simply using your phone. So I want to show some examples of what that actually manifests itself and in sharing a series of pictures. So I have a before and after picture here. This is a landscape designer. They start with what that is. That looks like everybody's backyard in March. But then once you hire this company, you actually get the visual representation of where your money goes and how gorgeous it is. And it has that emotional feeling. You want to sit down, you want to put your feet up, you want to relax when you're looking at that. And it's actually the same yard. So providing a series of things as you are working, especially if you're working in a trade industry, it's another great visual interpretation of what you do so that people can see the progress and see your expertise. Keywords and hashtags are something that we get a lot of questions about too. Hashtags and keywords are a way in which to cluster the things that you are talking about. So if people search from a hashtag, they can find that particular thing. So in this particular instance, it was a hashtag of a cool dog photo that somebody used, the hashtag dogs. So I was able to find this and really, because I look for funny dog pictures. I found a really gorgeous picture as a result. But even look at the amount of hashtags that are there that are sort of related to dogs. There's a ton of them there, and you can see how many posts are in there. So if you're trying to figure out what hashtag is actually workable for you, you can actually use that Instagram tool, or really a lot of the different tools, in order to get the answers that you want. You can even see there's even more. Next, actually share your online content with your other places. I know that sounds strange, but you want to drive people back to your website and drive people around your social media. So share different things in different places to get people talking and interacting. You always would like to have people look at more than one thing, or at least get driven back to your website in order to get more traction on your website. Even if you don't have a visually based medium or visually based business, you can use email effectively to get people to do things. This is a great example that I pulled of a company that's offering a seminar on how to defer your income tax. So it's not the sexiest thing in the world until but it's nice, it's professional. These people clearly look like they know what they're doing, and it'd be a great use of your time to go to. And you can see that just visually by looking at that. So even though the actual thing is not all that exciting, the results certainly are. Next, a great thing to do is to repurpose your email content. So if you're providing people with a certain amount of information on your email newsletter, sharing that out on social media is a great extension of your email list, your email as well. And you can share other people's content as well. What are your target audiences? Who are people who are interested in the same kind of people that you're interested in? And how do you show a certain amount of credible sources? What I mean by credible sources is that's a concept known as curating content. So think about this. If you go to a museum, there's not some guy in the back who's doing all the sculpting and then bringing them out front. Really, there's somebody there who's known as a curator, who is picking out things to share with the general public clustered around a certain theme. That's what curating content is. You're not claiming that you made the thing, but you're sharing it as an important thing and a discussable thing. One of the neat things you can do with that, however, is to make it your own. So usually the best practice in order to do that is to add your own spin by saying, hey, this is something that I found that I thought was really interesting, and I thought you'd be interested in it as well. So that gives it a certain amount of gravitas, and it lets you associate with the thought leader because you're the one presenting it. When it comes to content online, I can't stress this enough. The majority of content that actually gets you a certain amount of play is valuable and interesting content, not clubbing over the head trying to get people to buy now. That never really works. What does work instead is a promotional content to get people to start asking the question as to whether or not they should start engaging with you. So there's an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you should be spending time giving people informational content and interesting content based on your business. 20% of the time you should be giving them a reason to do business with you. There are a lot of really great tools out there that you can schedule your Facebook posting, because one of the questions that you should be asking right now is, my gosh, how on earth am I going to do this? And how on earth am I going to spend this amount of time doing all these amazing things? Well, the easiest thing to do is to use a tool like My Social Suite. Another great one is called Hootsuite, Hootsuite. Those are the things that will help you schedule things. So you can actually sit down and write all of your social media posts for the week in one sitting. You schedule them to go out at different times, and then you're done. It's just that simple. You can really load just about anything. This is an example of somebody who's used it for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn. You can technically do. So the last thing I really wanted to talk about today is social media advertising. This is sort of a new field. It's really come to fruition and really grown in the last 18 months. So I did want to spend some time talking about how that can actually help you drive new business to your company. So social ads are really effective. The ones that appear in your feed plus on the side of your feed. By and large, if you're doing it right, you should get a 25% return or at least engagement. And of that 25%, again, if you're doing it well, you should be getting about a 14 to 16% purchase rate from that. So there's money to be had there, and there's effort to be put there in order to actually drive traffic to you, but actually get business as well. How exactly does it work? Well, it's easy but complicated. Most platforms have their own advertising feature now. I'm showing Facebook right here. So this is something where you either promote your page to what audience, what are you trying to get? You're ultimately picking a message. Then second, you're going to define the audience, the places in which you want this ad to go, the people in which you want it to see. And then third, you define how much your budget is for any given day. By and large, I would say a good rule of thumb is if you're going to do this, is you should expect to spend $10 a day at least. So that manifests itself into at least $300 a month in pay-per-click or Facebook or even Twitter or Instagram-based advertising. Any pay-per-click advertising campaign you should do, you should expect to spend at least $10 a day on it to make it effective. So this is an example of Facebook advertising and what Constant Contact did in order to try and drive some of their business. They wanted to reach up to 25,000 people. They wanted to put it in a specific place, and you can see at the bottom they wanted to spend $100 in which to do that. They were presenting a certain image in order to entice people to do it. It's a good-looking image, especially now because it's 12:30 and I haven't eaten yet. I'm pretty excited about going to lunch once we're done here. So it's very simple and very basic. There's a lot of idiosyncrasies that go into that, but what ends up happening is this is what it ends up looking like. It's the barbecue, it's a good-looking rack of ribs, and how you save on it. The bonus of that is you get an opportunity to grow your email list. I said that was the third basic tenet of the value of social media advertising, or social media. It's because you can grow your email list. And then email and social work really well together, and they tend to have a spiral effect of adding to each other as you grow it. So what platforms actually have advertising options? Just about every one of the major ones have an advertising option. Really depends, though, on where your client base is and your customer base is and your audience is. Facebook is a great play. If you don't have something that's visually interesting, you really should stay off Pinterest and off Instagram. And if you are not have a young focus, you should definitely stay off Snapchat, which is the little ghost guy in the bottom right-hand corner. So last, before we leave, I did want to spend a little bit of time talking about how this can overall help grow your potential list. I started this by talking about prospecting and getting people who are mildly interested in your business. Those are called hand raisers. Getting those hand raisers. Obviously, you always want to continue to feed your funnel, and this is a good way to do it. So email and social media working together actually creates 73% more customer engagement than one of the two things separately. I spoke about this a little before, that if you just do social media, can it work? Yes, but it will take you quite a large amount of time. Picture I have here is particularly relevant. Ice cream is great, cookies are great, but an ice cream sandwich is even better. It also relies on you can also get almost 50% more customers than if you're working on their own. So anything that you want to do as it relates to digital marketing has to be working in concert together in order to be really effective for you. And you even get 40% more business referrals. How exactly do you do that? There's a couple of different ways that makes some sense. Number one, add an email sign-up link to your profile. Here's what it looks like for that landscape designer that we looked at on Instagram. You can actually add an email tab to your Facebook page, and that's what it looks like on Facebook, on joining somebody's email newsletter list. And then even asking within the post itself, go to my email list and sign up. As a default, if you're not sure what you can do and what you should start with in terms of providing value, growing your email list is a great place to start. The reason why I want to advocate for that for you is because you can use email metrics to make social decisions. And what do I mean by that? It means based on how many people, the metrics that you get from email marketing can actually tell you which ones of your channels are the most effective. A lot of times you'll be surprised because it's not the one that you think. Based on what your audience wants, not what you want, you can actually start making decisions about where you need to be spending your time and effort. So this example that I have here is basically the top 5: Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube. The best one for this particular client was actually Pinterest. It wasn't Facebook, it wasn't Twitter. So your audience can tell you where they are at if you listen hard enough, and the easiest way to do that is to create some data-driven metrics and data-driven processes like using email marketing in order to get there. So we've gone through a lot of information very, very fast. I don't know why I've spoken so fast today. I apologize. Normally I'm a little more slow and folksy, but today I guess I lit a fire under me or something. So that's everything that I've got for you today. I did want to share a couple more things. Number one, and just in summary, here's how you get started. Pick a platform, build your profile, make a post, and then let people know that you're there. Couple more quick plugs for us before you leave. If you are interested in getting more trainings like this, we'd love to have you. You can go to BizzyWeb.com/events. We do offer a free in-depth marketing analysis that if you go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, it'll tell you everything that's going well on your website, everything that you need to work on your website, and then everything that we'd recommend that you take a look at and change. So if you want to share this, you can certainly go to YouTube and go to BizzyWeb.com/category/BizzyWebinars. You can see all of our other webinars. If you would like to join our email list, we'd love to have you. Go to Bizzy, just text Bizzy to 22828. And it'll take you through a process to get signed up for more information about what we're doing here at BizzyWeb. Finally, if you want to find what your marketing mantra is, what I mean by that is, where are you in your journey, and how exactly, where exactly do you start? Constant Contact has a fun quiz at constantcontact.com/show-your-resolve, and it's really helpful, and it really was surprising, and it's free. It shouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes. Finally, I wanted to share with you just one simple thing, which is you can do this, and we are here to help you if you would like it. This is it takes time, it takes effort, but it's not rocket science. It's just labor intensive. So keep in mind that all the marketing tools that you really want to use are all available to you. It's just a question of how well you want to utilize them for your business and where you want to take it. If you did enjoy this presentation today, we'd love it if you gave us a review on Google or Facebook. If not, please turn off your computer now. But if you did, if you just Google BizzyWeb, you can see reviews down in the corner. I'd love it if you gave us a good review. Similarly on Facebook, we'd love some reviews there as well. So thanks everybody for staying with me. We will be back next week with another Bizzy webinar. And if you'd like to get a hold of me again, here's how you reach me at Trygve@BizzyWeb.com. I appreciate all your time. Thank you for hopefully politely laughing at some of my bad jokes. And we'll see you next time here at the Bizzy Webinar. Bye, everybody.